Very much, Leanne. I've been looking forward to reading at Planet Earth. I've done it in the past in person, and I must say I really wish I were there in person with all of you, but then you wouldn't all be here because you are here from all sorts of different places. So it's and I am here from Vancouver. So this is one benefit of Zoom. Um, and I think maybe another benefit of Zoom is that it can be, I think you are recording it so that people who haven't heard it might at some point hear some of you. Anyway, greetings to all of you and thank you for coming to listen. The land I'm speaking from is part of the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Thanks to Planet Earth, especially Daniel Scott for inviting me, Leanne Boschman, our host, the open mic readers this evening. It was really great listening to you. And the wonderful team at Brick Books who published Glass Float. The glass float I inherited from my family. And let me see, I know what I have to do. I have to get my virtual backgrounds organized here. Okay. The glass float I inherited from my family is bigger than my head, basketball size. It's flawed, like me, and full of breath, like me. It's mouth-made, blown from recycled sake bottles. It survived storms and doldrums while carried by Pacific currents from Japan to Vancouver Island. It landed safely. The poems in Glass Float also come a long way. I wrote them during a time of transformative change in my personal life. My husband's dementia, illness, decline, downsizing from 20 acres on 20 years on 12 acres at Point No Point to an apartment in Vancouver. Grief, exhaustion, depression. His death. Then 2 months of yoga and Ayurvedic detox in India. Family, friends, writing, yoga, travel. Now, we are all swept up in change. Who doesn't feel fragile, flawed, and boundaried? But I think we also sense life's buoyancy. I'm going to read 9 poems spanning each of the 3 sections of Glass Float in the same order as they appear in the book. These include the 6 prose poems Marguerite Pigeon quotes from in her insightful review of Glass Float published yesterday in the League of Canadian Poets online magazine, plus several lyric poems. The first poem I'm reading is from the first section, which is called Complexities, and the poem is called Convexities. It's also the first poem in the book. My grandfather taught me, when he gave me painting lessons, that there's no such thing as a concavity in nature. When you study the profile of a valley, it's made up of convexities. I saw this was true when I made contour drawings, forbidden to glance down. My pencil moved as my eye did along a periphery. When I finished and looked at the paper, my drawing would be little hummocks, some longer, some shorter, linked together. My grandfather also said, art is suggestion. Art is not representation. Snow coming down the mountain. The bear carries her bulk on human hands. Her snout long, coat sleek, eyes attentive within and without. We both ate huckleberries. She didn't flinch when I fell into the creek. Could I have a life as a blue whale? Could my soul grow an elephant-sized tongue? Ocean yawns. Cities before the city surface. She walks in the sun. Steam rises as frost melts. Could I slide my fingers under her guard hairs, touch soft wool? In the back of my mind, a halo of her fur. Beneath the city, lost creek beds. The snow's butterflies dance. And then I think I've got to move so you can see this. Oops. Well, it's a termite mound, but the photograph is not showing much of the termite mound, more of the tree. I'm going to read two of three poems in a sequence called Termite Mounds. The first one is from South Africa, which I'll read, and it's called South Africa. We were on a safari. Which came first, the termites or the tree? Faneuil asks, pointing at the termite mound with his rifle. The termites? I hazard, thinking the tree would draw water and nutrients from the green machine of their colony. No, the tree. Termites like shade. We've been walking single file in silence behind him. Although the sun is high and we didn't see the larger animals whose territory this is, some of their dung is fresh. Elephant, white rhino, zebra, hyena, impala, wildebeest, leopard. A leopard has killed a porcupine, spines very long, and stashed it in a tree. To show us how complex the termite's inner world is, Faneuil whacks at the top of a small mound with his rifle butt. Nothing happens until he aims a jiu-jitsu kick at it, and the tip of its cone hinges up. We can see the inside packed with narrow channels. Soldier termites brandishing pincers rush out of these tunnels to scale the ramparts of the rupture. Paler worker termites follow them. And the third of these termite mound poems is India. In 2014, when I was in India studying yoga, we visited the rock-cut caves in Ellora and Ajanta. They were excavated, the chips carried out by communities of workers using hand tools and baskets, torches. Sunlight reflected from pools of water at their entrances. Shortly after dawn, we sat on the stone floor of the Vishvakarma cave, the carpenter's cave. Its domed ceiling is carved from the living rock, with beams that look like wooden barrel ribs or the long timbers of an upturned hull. We were within the dim reaches of an ancient body. The next poems are from the second section called From Pune to Malshi Lake. These are more journal poems and prose poems typically that I wrote in 2014 when I was in India for 2 months. The first couple are about Gita Iyengar teaching at a yoga intensive called Yoga Anushanasanam just outside of Pune in Balawadi Stadium. 2,000 of us from all over the world. It was quite amazing. Gita's clues against depression, number 1. Today, Gita tackles depression. Like a detective, she's been investigating it. Her father's death less than 4 months ago. Keep your eyes on the horizon, she begins. Widen the gaze to take in all of your periphery. See it on a big screen across the back of the brain, as if it were projected on the inside of the skull. Notice you can still see the ground, everything, without strain. Immediately you're with her. You've learned by trial and error to do this to keep your balance. It works better than fixating on something in front of you, spotting. Gita goes on. If you wear multifocal lenses, take them off when walking around. They make you drop your chin to look at stairs or obstacles in your path. Draw your head back and let the neck rise up easily to support it. Lengthen the little muscles between the neck and the skull. Shine like a full moon without dispelling the dark. Did she really say that, you wonder? The last part? Possibly. Or what she said made you think of it. The moon is close to full. You saw it last night when you got up to pee. December 4th, 2014. And this is another Gita poem about yoga. It's about pranayama, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, asana and pranayama, and others. If it were a vitamin pill, you'd take it. And I should say, I've practiced pranayama and been taught pranayama for many years, but it's really only during the pandemic that I have managed to have a regular practice of pranayama myself. So this is one gift that the pandemic has been giving me. If it were a vitamin pill, you'd take it. On your walk to the bus, a short-handled broom dropped beneath a banyan. Man asleep beside it under a shawl, flat on the sidewalk. Crow on a coconut husk assesses the sprawl of trash beside a bin that boys were digging through last night, picking out aluminum foil and plastic bottles. Still some pink in the sky. Now I meant to change the photograph. Okay, the back. Oops, I'm going to go to the other side. So I'm not blocking Gita. This is a photograph of Gita. You're moving fast. Not much traffic yet. The air is fresher. It's your second to last day, and Gita spends a long time on pranayama. She tells you, pranayama is just as detailed a study as asana, complex but subtle. This study can't be rushed, she says. You need to distinguish the different ways energy, prana, moves in and through your body, how breath and consciousness, and each minor adjustment of wrist, jaw, vertebrae affect and change your energy and its freedom. When you feel empty within, she explains, your upper chest has collapsed. Lift your sternum and breathe as much as possible without strain into the closed area below your collarbones. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift your armpit chest. Press the shoulder blades in and forward. Then you will begin to feel yourself, to find yourself. Finding yourself is finding your soul. She's passionate, her voice animated. For you, it's a workout. Even though you're sitting, to keep your chest relaxed but open and lifted. Catch where you're tightening, losing alignment, collapsing. Readjust. But you can see the difference in people with a reliable daily pranayama practice. Their grace, ready energy, discernment, humor, wit. In the city of yourself, everything's a work in progress. And the last poem from this middle section, Puna to Moshi Lake, is Keep the Oil. And here I'm in the Ayurvedic Retreat Center at Moshi Lake. Moshi Lake is between Pune and Mumbai in the Western Ghats. And I had gone there for to do Panchakarma, which was it's a purgation treatment, 7 layers of digestion according to Ayurveda, purged. But it also involved 2 warm oil massages every day, which were lovely, and meals prepared for my dosha, and also for the purgation. Anyway, keep the oil. Powder massage today. 2 therapists give you a top-to-toes kneading with copious oil. Get into all the marma points, tight muscles, joints, and then they rub herbal powder briskly over your skin, working up a good heat and friction. This is to loosen fat and scrub off dead skin. Skin will tighten, Lakshmi explains, and glow. She helps you down from the table and into the steam cabinet. Get good sweat, she instructs. Good sweat makes powder easy to wash off. In the shower, no soap. Keep the oil, Lakshmi says. Get wet and show me your back. I'll help clean it. Tomorrow you can shampoo. You hide your greasy hair with a turban. It's more than a year since your husband died. You have a lot to relinquish. Why you're here. For the first time in your life, you're only responsible for and to yourself. Directly responsible, that is. It's a galaxy full of dark energy, dark matter. Within you, what's never been lit? December 15th, 2014. And then the last couple of poems I'll read are from the 3rd section, Receive Your Face. So this is also, this Receive Your Face, the poem itself, is set in Tuscany, where I'm again at a yoga retreat, a different one. This time it's Louis Ettling who's the teacher, and it's not 2014, it's 2017. Louis says, receive your face rather than look at it. Let the gifts flow. Get out of their way. Let your inhalation be friendly, itself as itself. Receive your face. My face floats back to me. Tears spring to my eyes. Is my face lonely for such a welcome? To receive this flawed one, carried by many waves, this face that somehow landed here safely. I follow Louis's breath, Louis's voice. In-breath observed but not judged. Out-breath spreading as a smile to my ankles and beyond. Widening, seeping into neighbors, the morning mists, clouds carried by the jet stream. And the final poem I'll read is also the final poem in the book. It's Winter, the God's Love. High and windswept, where rivers begin and snow whirls like Sarasvati circling Brahma, his lust growing 5 faces to keep 10 eyes on her. But that comes after mountains, moon, sun, an ocean of stars, after darkness and light differ. In winter, the gods shed headgear and garlands, sandals and spears, limbs and vendettas. They shed names. Honed to weightlessness, they flare and drift, rise, buckle, fold, explode from a hierarchical operatic cast. The thinned mesh of their turning sparkles and floats, holds a delta's silt, lifts with snow geese, falls on peaks. Darkness in winter nights, ruthlessly itself. In winter days, light frayed through ice crystals dogs the sun before collecting again in moon's gaze. In winter, the gods make do without mirrors, nothing to fog with breath or wink back, and spin out of bounds, infatuated again, desiring their manifold relinquished parts. Thank you.